to Croatia. Thank you for choosing Sunsail Agana base as your holiday destination. My name is Mirna and I will be taking you through this online version of a chart briefing. Now you'll notice the video is just about an hour long. That is because we have this huge region that we need to cover. So make the best of it, write down notes on which places you like best, stop the video or rewind it if you need to, and then schedule your online consultation on our web pages. You can also find either myself or one of our other chart briefers here in the base upon your check-in, and we'll be happy to provide you with further details about the places that you'd like to see. We can also help you plan your itinerary and give you contact details based on the current weather conditions. With that in mind, let us begin.
Agana Marina in the town Marina is 20 kilometers away from Split Airport. We suggest you book a private transfer. If arriving with a car, there is parking available around the base, payable on Marina Agana main reception. Both Sunsail and Marina reception are found on the seaside of the first building when you enter the marina. In this briefing, we will cover the basic rules and regulations in our base and Croatia, the weather conditions and the cruising area. Before arriving, it is good to read through our e-guide that will show you what to expect once in Croatia and give you additional information about the sailing region. Once you arrive to the reception, you will be checked in, meaning we will confirm your crew list, charge you for the tourist tax, take the yacht deposit and give you your boat papers. It is very important to always have your boat papers with you. In marinas and town quays, you need to give them to the harbor master and you will get them back after paying for the berth. Also, the Coast Guard does checks every now and then, so make sure you always know where the boat papers are. On the last page are the most important information, and you will see a piece of paper that looks like this. It contains a code for the MySea application, so you can book mooring buoys, marinas, or reserve dinner really quick and easy. Your yacht is equipped with GPS as well as government-approved charts in small and big. To the weather forecast a couple of times a day. These times and channels are also written in your boat papers, so you can look them up anytime. This is for broadcasting the weather forecast in English in these channels. You can also get a written weather forecast on our reception or in any marina. The most popular way, however, is to look it up online. The two web pages we recommend are written here. Meteo.hr is the Croatian Hydrometeorological Institute, and a little bit more user-friendly is windy.com. So here we will see windy.com and the current situation in Croatia. So as we can see, the arrows indicate direction. The color indicates the strength of the wind. We can also check for rain, if it is expected, how warm it will be, or how high the waves are going to be approximately. So you can plan your trip a little bit better. Let's mention the names of Croatian winds real quick. Don't worry, while listening into any Croatian weather forecast, what will be mentioned is wind direction, not its name, but I still believe it to be useful. From southeast comes a strong, constant wind called Jugo. It usually takes around 24 hours to build up and the same time to die down. It often brings rain and a lot of moisture in the air and big waves and swells. As opposed to that, the Bura wind, blowing from northeast, brings clear skies. It is dreaded in the winter, especially more to the north from our base, but now you need to only be careful about the gusts that mark Bura wind, so keep a close eye on the helm. From the northwestern direction comes the daily Maestral in the summer. It builds up around noon and dies down with the sun. You can count on it almost every day in the summer. Communication in Croatia is fairly straightforward. Make sure to check before arrival with your telecom provider to see under which conditions it will operate once here. All the useful numbers from the base are written in the last page of your boat papers in case you will need to reach us. It is very rare to have an accident when being here, but just in case, we like you to know the procedure. Make sure everyone is safe and don't leave the scene. Exchange numbers if the accident involved another boat, and take pictures of the damaged area. Call our technical manager at first opportunity and he will give you further input. In emergency situations, call 112 first and inform us as soon as possible. Maintaining a lookout usually keeps all accidents in bay, so be vigilant while at helm. As you may know, Sunsail offers a 4-hour assistance guarantee. The exact details can be found on our web pages, so in case you need assistance from the base, call the technical support number from the last page of your boat papers, which is available to you 24 hours a day. Please do keep in mind that late calls indicate a serious emergency, so if you can wait until morning, please do so. We wholeheartedly suggest you go to store.sunsail.com and order your provisioning online. That way, it will be on board even before you are. Check it on arrival and make sure everything is there, as our provisioning representative will come by as well and take your signature. The marina town offers 2 well-stocked supermarkets. Tommy, with big red letters on the entrance, they allow their clients to take the shopping cart and leave it at the base, or Studenac, to the left of Tommy, up the stairs next to post office, they do a free delivery to your boat. Make sure to have the delivery after you're clear to board and give them the correct name and dock so they can find you easily. There is an exchange office as well and a couple of restaurants on the other side of the bay from our boats in Marina Town, and all in 10-minute walking distance. You can also very easily reach the beach. There is one on each side of the bay, together with a beach bar. Here is also a good time to mention that currency in Croatia is kuna and no other is legally accepted. Our official embarkation time is 3 p.m. as indicated on your contract. We do our hardest to have your yacht prepared even sooner, and we will inform you on the readiness of the boat. Please do not go on your boat before it is prepared for you. Once boarded, you will meet your technician, who will take you through the details of your boat. Only captain and co-captain are asked to participate. Before the start of the briefing, please make sure you've read the briefing booklet provided to you on the reception. It will speed up the briefing and you will have to sign it at the end, confirming you have fully understood all the systems on board. Make sure to listen carefully and ask if anything is uncertain. This is also a good moment to make sure you are familiar with med mooring with a lazy line, as that is the most common way to moor in Croatia. Night sailing in Croatia is allowed, but the insurance or the yacht damage waiver does not cover it. We never recommend it, and you will never get a permission from the base to do night sailing. If you still don't have a yacht damage waiver, you can always purchase it on our reception. As you can see from the table, it considerably lowers your security deposit. It also doesn't cover any damage possibly occurred in the red zones, which we will mention later on in the briefing. Before you leave the dock, make sure your crew list is correct and your boat papers are nice and safe on the boat, as well as your original skipper's license. Your water tanks and diesel tanks will be filled up before you've taken over the boat, and linen and towels have been put on board in a bag for your safety. Also, for those purposes, we've removed all snorkeling gear from the boats. You may want to bring your own, or you can try to purchase some basics from supermarkets in Marina Town, although we cannot guarantee that they will be stocked. Also, if you decide you need an additional toy on board during your charter, we offer 1- and 2-man kayaks and stand-up paddleboards that you can book on the reception, as well as Wi-Fi options if you don't have it already. During your charter, you will notice that all marinas in Croatia are using VHF channel 17 for short-distance communication on your arrival. A quick reminder, channel 16 is the distress channel. Marina Agana is also using channel 17, but to reach us, your base staff, please call us on channel 8 on arrival within our working hours. You are expected hold at least 2 hours. There is no fueling station in Agana Marina, so that can be done in Baotic Marina, 5 miles from the base, Trogir Town, 6 miles from the base, or Rogač Town on Šolta Island, 12 miles from the base. Trogir and Rogač are quite small, while Baotic has around 12 pumps and is a little bit more expensive. Once in the base, a technician will come by to do a debriefing, and the customer service representative will also come by to finish the checkout, helping you with transfer reservations, rent-a-car bookings, dinner reservations, or whatever it is that you need. Disembarkation is at 9 a.m. the following day, and we ask you to leave your boat in a good seaman-like condition. It is obligatory to throw out your rubbish to marina dumpsters next to B dock, and we ask you to leave your linen, sheets and towels on the bed so we can disinfect them before bagging. If you don't like the idea of coming back to base a day before disembarkation, you can purchase the morning yacht return option. Please be aware that this is a limited service and the price varies from one boat type to the other, so you need to ask on the reception for exact details. Disembarkation is still 9 a.m. on your last day. Before immersing into the region itself, here are ground rules for the region and overnight stays. Firstly, Croatia is a part of IALA's Region A, meaning green lateral marks are on the starboard side, so write green return. And there are no dinghy docks per se, but everywhere you arrive there will be a place for your dinghy. Just make sure to drag it high enough if leaving it on the beach and not to put it in the way of big yachts and ferries. Squeezing in between the same sized boats in harbor usually does the trick. Legally, the dinghy shouldn't be further than 300 meters from its registered yacht. Croatia is full of beautiful lonesome bays with sandy bottoms, ideal for overnight anchoring. Just make sure not to anchor where you see the upside down anchor sign, as it indicates some underwater hazards like cables. Also, avoid anchoring closer than 300 meters from a private buoy or town quay, as you will be charged for that. It is common to secure oneself to the shore with a long line for an overnight anchoring and double check the weather forecast before setting in for the night. For a more peace of mind night, you might want to pick up a mooring buoy. They are either owned by a restaurant, meaning you can have it for free if you dine there, or they are under concession and payable. The price is around 100 kuna for a monohull or closer to 200 or 300 kuna for a catamaran for one night. You will always get assistance from local personnel in acquiring the mooring buoy in high season. You can usually book them through MySea application or directly on the phone. Have cash ready, as they rarely accept credit cards. Town quays or harbors are found in every coastal town, and although they have the same med-mooring system with lazy lines as any marina, they're usually equipped with water, electricity and shower toilet facilities, and they are not marinas. There are three main differences. A town quay doesn't accept credit cards, only kuna cash. The price for one evening is about 500 kuna for a town quay, or about 37 kuna per meter for a monohull. Catamarans are always plus 50% in price. A town quay can never be reserved. You can give them a call and inquire for advice on when to arrive, but that is mostly it. Arriving around 3 or 4 in the afternoon is normally enough to catch a spot, but it depends on the town and its popularity. The third difference between a town quay and the marina is that the town quay doesn't use VHF 17 for communication. Some have other channels, like 9 or 15, indicated at the entrance of the bay, but mostly hand signals are used. Marinas are the most expensive options. There is only a couple of them along the region. Most widespread are ACI, Adriatic Club International Marinas. They only accept reservations online or through the MySea app, and they are the most common brand, found in Kornati National Park, Skradin Town, Trogir Town, Milna on Brač Island, Vrboska and Palmižana on Hvar, and Korčula Town, as well as Dubrovnik. A night for a catamaran is paid 80% more than monohull in the high season in all marinas, with one night reaching as high as 2,000 kuna for a cat. From Agana base, one can sail 1 week towards the south or 1 week towards the north, and in 2 weeks you can comfortably reach Dubrovnik and come back. For those arriving for the first time, the south itinerary is what we suggest, but the best thing to do always is to follow the weather forecast and decide where to go accordingly. Allow me to mention 2 places in our region that we consider to be red zones, which we mentioned earlier. Krknjaši, a bay on Drvenik Valley Island, needs to be approached from the southeast or east, as northern parts are shallow. Šibenik Bridge, if you want to reach Krka National Park, you need to pass beneath 2 bridges after Šibenik town. You have more than enough room to pass beneath, but only if you stay to the middle. Go slow and do not try to avoid the bungee jumpers. They will see you and will not be in your way. For those of our guests that like to sail out on the same day that you arrive, or maybe have an early boarding, we will start with some suggestions on where to spend your first night on board. We will concentrate on the 20 nautical mile radius from the base, and we will start with Trogir town. Trogir is a 2 millennia old town, used to be a capital of the Roman municipality, and its old cairn on a small island between mainland and Chiovo Island is now under protection from UNESCO. There are no buoys, anchoring isn't allowed, and the whole area is exposed to westerly winds. On the north side of the bay is a town quay, usually reserved for big tourist boats in the season, and on the south side are 2 marinas, ACI and Marina Trogir. Fueling station is found between the two, or you can go to Baotić Marina a mile west before the town. If you are sailing out later than expected, you can still anchor off in Vinišće Bay, only 6 miles away from the base. Vinišće is only exposed to southeasterly winds. The village is quiet at all times, promenade is long, and there are a couple of restaurants to dine in. Anchoring is the only way to moor overnight, visiting Vinišće with your dinghy. Good idea would also be Drvenik Island. Mali, meaning small, and Veli, meaning big. They're both great for anchoring all around the islands, but are exposed to winds depending on where exactly you are. On the south of small Drvenik is a nice sandy beach, Velarina, great for a swimming break. Mali Drvenik town is on the northeastern side of the island, while Veli Drvenik town is on the northwest. The town quays there are not busy, but also don't have water or electricity. Most popular spot here is the Blue Lagoon, Krknjaši Bay. The bay itself offers protection only from light northwesterly winds, and only anchoring is possible, so choose a calm night for your stay. There is a restaurant here with great cocktails and a DJ, and the bay is often full in season. Be careful while entering the bay. Approach only from southeastern direction, as the northern parts are too shallow for our keels. Within 12 miles distance from the base, the west side of Šolta Island is perfect for your first evening. There are 2 places here where you can spend the night. Maslenica town has a great vibe, good restaurants, and a 5-star marina, Martinis Marki. It is also the only place to leave your yacht in this town. Remember, it gets a bit choppy on the outer dock when westerlies are blowing. Anchoring is possible around the outer 7 islands, but don't try to dinghy to the town from there, as it is far. Here we can also see the other bay, which is another option for an overnight stay, just a 20-minute walk from Maslenica town, Šešula Bay. This bay has amazing natural protection from the elements. It is only slightly exposed to southwesterly winds. There are 2 restaurants here, Šešula and Šišmiš, and they offer their mooring buoys free of charge if dining with them. Booking your buoy and table before arrival is necessary in high season. Anchoring in Šešula Bay is possible, but you have to enter all the way in. If we continue along the north side of Šolta Island, we will pass by Rogač town with a small fueling station on the western side, and then get to Nečujam Bay. Nečujam Bay is an anchoring-only bay, exposed to northern winds. There are 2 restaurants with only a couple of buoys and a sunken wreck that can be snorkeled to deep in the bay. You may also notice Roman ruins on the eastern side or huge pen shells under the water. Please don't touch them, as they are protected. Right next to Nečujam Bay is Stomorska town, some 14 nautical miles from the base. It is a quiet town, well known as the starting point for a winery visit, with a small promenade and a couple of traditional restaurants. The town quay is inside the bay, making it a little better protected from Bura, northeastern wind. One can also anchor off at least 300 meters from the town quay, and that way you are more exposed. The furthest you can come on your first day would be 20 miles away to Brač Island and its bays of Bobovišća and Milna town. In Bobovišća you will definitely find peace and quiet. Even the cell phone won't bother you, as there rarely is any signal. There are 2 inlets of the bay, both laid out with payable mooring buoys. Anchoring is allowed at least 300 meters away from them, and there is a tiny town quay. However, it will be too shallow for you, so avoid it. If exploring the bay with a kayak or swimming isn't enough for you, you can have a taxi and go explore Brač Island. Brač Island is best known for its white stone, also used to partially build the Washington White House. All houses in Milna town have been built out of the same stone. Anchoring is possible before the entrance to the bay itself on the south side, but very exposed. Town quay is deep in the bay on the north side, in season busy with tourist boats, and there are 3 marinas in the bay. Vlaška at the beginning of the bay on the north side, the Yacht Center Milna on the side right after the fueling station, and all the way inside is ACI Marina Milna. You can spend the night hitting the town, visiting the restaurants, bars, or simply have a lovely long walk along the promenade. There are also destinations to the north of our base, which you can reach on your first night. One would be 12 miles away, Sičenica Bay. Great for anchoring, or you can grab one of the paying mooring buoys. The restaurant there serves delicious fish specialties. Another option would be Rogoznica town, 17 miles away from our base. Rogoznica is a very sheltered town with plenty to do. For berthing, there is Marina Frapa with its numerous facilities. Or you can opt for a town quay on the little island in the middle of the bay, the center of the town, surrounded with bars and restaurants. Mooring buoys are available here and here. And to anchor, you would have to motor further inland another mile or 2. While here, you can visit the Lavender Garden on the top of the hill or the Dragon's Eye Lake and hear all the legends about it. We continue our briefing talking about the northern part of our region. Here you can spend a week exploring, or even 2 if planning to spend more time in Kornati archipelago. The area can be divided into Krka River and Channel, Šibenik archipelago, and Kornati National Park. We will start with Šibenik archipelago. After passing by Rogoznica, which we already mentioned, on the right-hand side will be visible Marina Kremik and its neighboring town, Primošten. Surrounded by UNESCO-protected vineyard fields, Marina Kremik is big and safe from all weather, although it swells a bit in southwestern winds. The fueling dock here is a bit too far to fill up your tanks and arrive to the base still full. A short but steep hike up the northern hill takes one to a giant statue of Our Lady of Loreto, where one can sip coffee while admiring amazing panoramic view of the surroundings, including Primošten town. Primošten is often admired for its traditional Dalmatian charm and is a great stop on your way. It is, however, worthy to remember that it is completely exposed to all winds, so calm weather is essential for a visit. Anchoring is possible to the east of the town. The mooring buoys are payable to the harbor masters, and the town quay on the northern side of the peninsula is very difficult to get to in high season unless arriving before noon. In Šibenik archipelago, there is a total of 3 towns to visit and endless bays and coves just for relaxing on anchor or mooring buoys. But water. Looking across the bay, you can see Prvić Luka. Because it is so close to Šibenik town, a lot of medieval rich residents made their vacation houses here, including Faust Vrančić, the inventor. His work reminds of Leonardo da Vinci, and he was the first man to jump with a parachute in Venice. Visiting his museum in morning hours is most rewarding. Town quay moorings are on the breakwater, while mooring buoys and anchoring inside the breakwater is payable to Port Harbor. Capri town is in the southwest bay of the island, remote and quiet. Town Quay is in the center of the town, and it also houses the ferry on its north side. The mooring buoys in the bay are partially payable, partially belonging to Restaurant Liberty. Anchoring in the bay is prohibited, but other bays like Eastern Nostra Vela or Nostra Mala are lovely to drop anchor in. Town itself offers a couple of restaurants and bars in season and lovely tracks for rambles and walks. From other islands and bays, we will separate out two, as they are a bit more popular. Kakan Island and its lagoon, and Žiria Island with Stupica Vela Bay. Remember that there are many more quiet bays, as the topography shows, with local konobas, traditional restaurants that are delight once found. Kakan is an uninhabited island on the north side, sheltered by two islands, Borovnjak Veli and Borovnjak Mali, making this lovely lagoon, filled with payable mooring buoys and anchoring possibilities, slightly exposed to north winds. Žiria Island and its bay Stupica Vela are a great stop on the way to or back from Kornati National Park. Mooring buoys are payable, but anchoring is possible in the neighboring Stupica Mala Bay. The restaurant here is well known for their delicious fish specialties, and you can have a walk to an old fort that may or may not have belonged to a pirate queen Teuta. From Šibenik archipelago, we go into St. Anthony Channel, passing Šibenik town, up the river to reach Krka National Park entrance in Skradin town. First, we need to pass by the guardian of the channel, St. Nicholas Fortress, now under UNESCO protection. It is open to tourists. It was built for protection against the Turks, and it looked so powerful that an attack was never even tried. In this channel, sailing isn't allowed and there is a speed limit of 6 knots. Anchoring is allowed inside the channel next to the fort. About Šibenik we can say a lot of things. A town of kings, a town of forts, and the first to house a Michelin-star restaurant in Croatia. If you like sightseeing, this is the town for you, with the UNESCO-protected St. Jacob Cathedral only being the tip of the iceberg. South of the town is a fueling station and Mandalina Marina, and in the center is the town quay, slightly exposed to westerlies. Anchoring isn't allowed, and there are no mooring buoys. A small reminder that you will pass 2 bridges while going upriver. Stay to the middle, there is enough room for everyone. After passing those 2 bridges, a lake and numerous mussels farms. If you like seafood, it's easy to stop and buy some, they're delicious. So after 8 miles upstream, you get to Skradin town. There is a busy ACI marina here, mooring buoys only in the high season, and anchoring can be done before the marina in a bay on the western shore of the river. The current can get to 3 knots strong after heavy rain, so keep that in mind. The ferry, taking visitors to Krka National Park, is here, or you can rent a bicycle, but Skradin has a lot more to offer, like wine tastings or Peka traditional dishes, so try to explore it to its fullest. Krka River is 72 kilometers long with 7 amazing waterfalls. 3 hours or 3 days can be spent there, wandering on the pathways. Entrance ticket for grown-ups is around 150 kuna in the season, payable after the ferry ride to the entrance. After one park, let's mention the other as well, Kornati National Park. The Kornati archipelago includes about 150 land units located either permanently or frequently above the sea, and the archipelago makes 12% of all the islands in the Croatian Adriatic. Entrance ticket is best bought on official web pages or MySea application at least a day in advance, as the price is double if purchasing on the day of entry. If you plan to pass through the archipelago, then the 3-day ticket also includes Telaščica Nature Park further north, and if you plan to go just to the ACI Marina and back, the ticket is already included in the marina fee. For a 47 monohull, you would pay around 800 kuna for 1 day or 1600 for 3 days in high season. From numerous bays that you can visit, we will mention 2. Smokvica Island at the southern end of the park and Vrulje Bay in the middle of Kornat Island. Make sure to go into the park well provisioned, as the only shop is in the ACI Marina Piškera here. Remember to only use mooring buoys and don't anchor, as the underwater bed is protected. Smokvica Bay on its southeastern side is exposed to southeasterly winds and has a great restaurant called Piccolo that also has a small quay for the guests. Vrulje is known as the main village on Kornati. Great shelter, although gusts sweep all over when there are strong winds. There is also a bit of swell in Jugo wind. Make sure to mind the depth when approaching the floating pontoons from 3 restaurants, or opt for the swinging moorings on the south shore. Telaščica Nature Park is adjacent to Kornati. If you have a 3-day ticket, visit the bay, there are many anchorage possibilities, and have a walk to the salt lake Mir, meaning peace. Between the 2 parks to the north is also the exit from the protected areas. Sailing back towards the base, you may want to stop on the north side of Žut Island to replenish your supplies in the local marina shops. Anchoring is possible, and there are mooring buoys belonging to 2 restaurants with great local food. For those who want to spend their week south from our base, we will dedicate next 15 minutes to the great islands found there. Šolta Island, we already mentioned, and the west side of Brač. In 1 week sailing time, you can also visit islands Hvar, the most popular one, and Vis, with its amazing historic background. Reaching Korčula, the birthplace of Marco Polo, requires a bit longer legs on your journey, but we will mention it as well. Let's continue where we left off, on Brač Island. The passage between Brač and Šolta Islands is called Splitska vrata, the Gate of Split. It is a very busy passage, so stay focused while going through. The southwest side of Brač has great coves for anchoring, from which all are exposed to southerly winds, and we will mention 2, Lučice Bay, the only one with mooring buoys, and Smrka. Lučice Bay on its west side has mooring buoys that are payable, although they belong to 2 restaurants. The eastern side of the bay can be anchored in. You can walk to Milna town from here. The trip takes you at least half an hour. Smrka Bay is a very calm anchorage with a half-hidden unused submarine tunnel ready for exploring. For hikers, you can try to find a path from the beach leading to a hermit monastery carved from living stone. As the hike is an hour long, make sure to bring good shoes and plenty of water. Further to the south, we arrive to very exposed Bol town, also known as the windsurfer's paradise. Anchoring around here isn't recommended because of the constant wind shifts, but the town quay is new and there are payable mooring buoys along with a fueling station. This is also a good spot to leave your yacht if you want to visit the famous Zlatni Rat or Golden Cape Beach. It is a pebble beach and it never looks the same as the currents and wind shape it daily. Anchor can be dropped right next to it, but be mindful that the bottom shifts as well, so it is difficult to stay in place sometimes. That is why it is better to leave your boat half a mile to the east in Bol town and have a 10-minute walk to the beach. Bol is very touristy in the season, with bars, clubs, attractions, hiking and cycling trails, jet skis and windsurfing. Going further along the north side of Brač is something we recommend only when there is strong southerly winds for the whole week, or if you've already been to other places in the south, so we will not discuss it much further. There is, however, a lovely town Pučišća, where the stonemasonry school is, and a peaceful bay Luke with good protection. Let's pay our attention to Hvar Island. On its northern side are the towns Jelsa, which is really exposed to northeastern Bura wind, and Vrboska, which has great protection from all winds. Distance-wise, Jelsa is 15 miles from Milna town and 5 miles from Bol on Brač Island. There is no marina, no mooring buoys, and anchorage isn't allowed. That leaves us with Town Quay on both the western and eastern side of the town. Jelsa is truly a joy to be in, with beaches, extremely good restaurants right on the seaside, cocktail bars, and an acclaimed winery at the tip of the hill. If you like wine, visit Tomić Winery for local and professional tastings. Vrboska is also known as Little Venice, with its long bay and tiny island in the middle, and it is sometimes overseen, but tradition lovers will find it a shame to miss. In strong Jugo, southeastern winds, the sea can rise considerably, but that rarely happens. Vrboska is one of the safest harbors in Adriatic. That is why there is a marina here at the beginning of the bay, while the town quay is further in. No mooring buoys and anchoring is forbidden in the town, but possible outside of the bay, around Zečevo Island. Sailing around the north side of Hvar is good to mention that the bays are quite deep on this side, making anchoring a little bit more difficult. Stari Grad Bay, however, is ideal for anchoring, although it isn't always for free, as there are plenty of payable mooring buoys. The best known bay is Luka Tiha on the northern side of the bay, but there are many more where anchoring isn't payable and restaurants give buoys for free on the northwestern side of the island, like Pribinja Bay or Duga right next to it. You can also catch a taxi from here after dinner and head to Hvar town. Firstly though, we will mention Stari Grad, meaning old town. And it really is old. It was founded by the Greeks in 4 BC. UNESCO also protected the plains in the background of the town. There is an archaeological and interesting town museum, as well as a house with a pond and hidden garden to see. Stari Grad is 28 miles away from Agana base. So if you're sailing out on Sunday, you can reach it on your first day of sailing. The sea rises a bit in Jugo wind, but that is nothing to be concerned about. The town quay is second largest in Croatia, spread out on both sides of the bay. The shower and toilet facilities and the harbour master's office are on the south side, so you may want to aim for that. The town quay Stari Grad, like town quay of Jelsa, use VHF 09 to communicate with approaching boats. There is only a couple of mooring buoys, and they are also payable to the port harbour. We already mentioned Hvar town, the jet-set place of Croatia, and I believe it needs no further introduction. Hvar is 18 miles away from Jelsa, 7 nautical miles from Milna, and 27 from our base. It is exposed to southeastern winds the most. First comes, first served is obligated at no other town quay like here. In high season, arriving as early as 10 a.m. may not do the trick. The buoys are on the west side of the bay, and they are payable. Dinghy can be left on the north part, but mind the traffic and try to stay calm. Clubbing, bar hopping, coffee sipping and sightseeing are all the reasons why people come here. However, there is a less stressed art to find your way to Hvar town. To the south of Hvar town is archipelago called Pakleni Islands, the biggest one of them being St. Clement Island. On the northern side is an ACI marina, Marina Palmižana. Just south from it is the most popular bay with mooring buoys, Vinogradišće. All other bays are free to anchor, or if you see mooring buoys, they belong to a restaurant, so you can get them only if you dine there. That also goes for Marinkovac Island, the place with most beach clubs. Taxi boats operate on this whole area, so give them a ring wherever you want to go and do not use your dinghy to island hop. To get to Palmižana in high season, you do need a reservation a couple of days in advance. It is also notorious as the most expensive marina in Croatia. Charming pathways connect this bay to Vinogradišće behind it, filled with botanical plants. Vinogradišće used to be a great anchorage, but due to its popularity, the only way to stay here overnight is on a mooring buoy. They also have to be reserved online on vinogradišće.com. The reason this bay is so popular are the high-end restaurants found here and the legendary Laganini Beach Club. Just 3 miles south from Hvar town is Milna town, with mooring buoys that belong to a restaurant. Further away, you will find the same thing on Zarače beach, with a beautiful natural breakwater made of stone. Finally, Sveta Nedjelja village is also here. From all these spots, it is possible to visit Hvar town with a taxi. Sveta Nedjelja is special because the winemaker Plenković decided to ripen his wine underneath the sea level. That is also where the wine tastings are done. Sveta Nedjelja has a tiny marina and a great restaurant. However, it is very exposed to southerlies, so time your arrival wisely. There is a small island south from Hvar called Ščedro, ideal for resting after Hvar town parties. 12 nautical miles from Hvar, Ščedro is a nature reserve and anchoring is great all around the island. Just mind the winds. Its northern bays, Lovišće and Manastir, also have mooring buoys that belong to restaurants. The only building besides those on the island is an abandoned monastery where you can walk to on a trail. We are now leaving Hvar Island and its area now and going to Vis Island. We will start with Vis town on its northeastern side. Vis town is 12 nautical miles from Hvar town and some 30 miles from Agana base. It is exposed to Bura wind. Anchoring in the bay is allowed only at one place, between the monastery and the fueling station, where you get very big swell from the arriving ferry. There are 2 town quays. On the west side of the bay is Vis town itself. On the east side of the bay, a bit quieter Kut town quay. The both are connected with a promenade. There are also 4 large mooring buoy fields, one in front of each town quay, one by the monastery, and one on the other side closer to the beach. While in Vis, you may want to book a wine tasting inside a bunker or an island tour to learn more about the rich Vis history, or simply head to party at Fort George. Vis Island is full of beautiful bays around it, so I'll mention a few. On the entrance to Vis Town Bay, on the western side, is an often windy bay, but good anchorage and a spectacular submarine tunnel as a backdrop, Rogačić Bay. On the other side is Stončica Bay. Stončica hides one of the rare sandy beaches in Croatia. The mooring buoys are payable, and the restaurant serves very big portions. On the southeastern side of the island is another island, Ravnik, where one can find a green cave. This one is less famous than its blue cousin that we will mention in a minute. However, some things are the same. The light is best to illuminate color between 11 and 1 p.m. and the entrance is payable, so you can swim through it or try to do some cliff jumping. A renowned beach is Stiniva, on the south side of the island. Its cliffs continue underwater, so it is difficult to anchor. Try going to the neighboring bay to anchor, or just visit it from land if you rent a bike or scooter from one of the towns. The second and a little bit better known cave is the Blue One. It is situated on tiny Biševo Island and entrance is on the east side. Grab a buoy or drop anchor in Mezoporat and wait for the official boat to pick you up and take to the 20-minute sightseeing of the cave. You are not allowed to swim in the cave or touch anything, and also not to enter it with your dinghy. Another way to visit the cave is from Komiža town. Komiža, the second town on Vis Island, is exposed to westerly winds and is around 30 miles away from Sunsail base Agana. Vis Island has some amazing views, so since it is necessary to arrive early, meaning 3 p.m. or sooner, to both of these towns to get a spot, it is a great idea to hire a scooter and go for an explore. Drive through vineyards or visit inland restaurants that serve traditional peka dish. Komiža has a very small town quay, so people usually opt for the mooring buoys. They're payable and there is around 30 of them. In Komiža you will enjoy on secluded beaches and enjoy dinner in one of the restaurants. The final island that can be reached within 1 week with a sailing boat is Korčula, and it has 2 towns, Vela Luka town and Korčula. The closer of the 2 towns is Vela Luka. From Vis town there are 23 nautical miles to reach it. Before getting to the town itself, on the northern side of the bay are mooring buoys that belong to a restaurant. Before reaching the bay at all, you will pass by an island called Proizd. The Guardian magazine put it among nicest beaches in the Adriatic a way back, thanks to bright white stone entering the sea, and a small Robinsonian restaurant on the north side of it. Gradina Bay is a great anchorage if you want to avoid the town fuss, and restaurant Shiloko offers mooring buoys. The beach is great for small kids, and passing from either side of Gubeša Island is deep enough for your keel. Vela Luka town is known as a place of artists, good wine, a 5,000-year-old cave, and great beaches. Town quay is tucked away at the end of the bay, while payable mooring buoys are close to the southern shore. A new marina also opened in 2020, Korčula Marina, at the entrance of the town. On the western side of Korčula is its capital, Korčula town, with a backdrop of vineyard roads and pine forest. And 3 miles to the east of it is a great alternative if it's too busy, Lumbarda. Korčula town is slightly exposed to westerlies and has a town quay on its western side, very busy, and a place for the ferry as well. On its eastern side is the ACI Marina Korčula that needs to be reserved in high season. There are no mooring buoys, but a bay just to the east of the town called Luka is very safe for anchoring, although payable. From there, you can drive your dinghy to the town in 5 minutes. While in Korčula, make sure to visit Marco Polo Birdhouse and St. Marcus Tower to have amazing views of the surrounding channel. In the evening, stroll to the town square and you may witness Moreška, an ancient dance with swords, before going to dinner or a drink among the walls of Little Dubrovnik, as Korčula is also called. Lumbarda is only about 3 miles to the south of Korčula, but is much quieter. You can moor up in Lumbarda Marina and still visit Korčula town with a taxi, or just stay in Lumbarda and hit one of the sandy beaches, or go to a wine tasting. The whole archipelago in front of Korčula and Lumbarda is great for anchoring, although it is also one of the rare places in Croatia where you need to keep a close eye on the depth. Try visiting the base of Račišće or anchor in front of Franciscan Monastery on Badia Islands. You can also try cocktails in Moro Beach on Stupe Island. We will focus our attention now to the islands that our guests can reach if on board for 2 weeks and would like to spend both on a sail south. That would include the nature park Lastovo and surrounding islands, then Mljet, called Odysseus Island, which is also partially under national protection, and the area surrounding Dubrovnik town, inclusive Pelješac Peninsula, the richest wine region in Croatia, and the Elafiti Islands. In Dubrovnik is another Sunsail base as well. We will start with Lastovo, the island of crystal stars. A while back, some astronomers noticed that Milky Way is visible with bare eye from there, so Lastovo exchanged their whole public lighting system with the ecological lighting with 0% emissions to the sky. Another thing marking it, except untouched nature, is its capital, among the hills with distinctive chimneys. Coming all the way to Lastovo and not paying a visit here is truly a shame. All pictures from this island were provided by the park itself. For additional details, go to pplastovo.hr, as there is many more to know. Important to remember is that entering Lastovo with a yacht requires an entrance ticket. Buying it online at least a day in advance over MySea or their web pages is the way we recommend it. If purchased for 3 days, it is valid for Mljet Island as well. Do not anchor anywhere in the park, but use mooring buoys or docks only. The island and its archipelago have a couple of points of interest where you can spend the night. Pasadur in Velji Lago is a charming place with a bridge connecting Lastovo with Prežba Island. The only hotel on the island offers dockage. On the south of Lastovo Island is Skrivena Luka, meaning hidden harbor, with mooring buoys and restaurant docks. The entrance to that hidden place is marked with a very special lighthouse. If you long for a beach, Saplon is definitely the way to go. There are mooring buoys there with no other facilities whatsoever. For the end, a tongue breaker, Zaklopatica Bay. On the northern side, with a couple of restaurants, docks, and a great trail to Lastovo town, Zaklopatica is very famous to visit. Around 20 miles from Lastovo, there is Mljet Island. The whole western side of this green island, including 2 salt lakes, is a national park. If you bought a ticket for 3 days for Lastovo, it covers this part of Mljet as well. The ticket does not include mooring fees. There are 2 towns in the park where you can stay: Pomena on the west, exposed to northwesterly winds, and Polače, a deep bay open to northeasterlies. Polače was named after 5th century Roman palace in the village. The bay is filled with mooring buoys for restaurant guests, and there are mooring lines on town quay. Getting to the national park is easy with a scooter, bike, or the park's van. In Pomena, there is a town quay in front of the hotel. The rest of the seaside is occupied by restaurants that can give you berth if you eat there, although no electricity. From Pomena, you can easily walk to the national park itself and its 2 salt lakes. Driving around them on an 11-kilometer long path is a great idea, and the park tickets include a ferry ride to the monastery of St. Mary in the middle of the lake. If you like to hike, the view from the top is very rewarding. Although Mljet is full of places to go with your yacht, especially on the island's north side, in this briefing we will mention only 2 more. One is a cave, said to be the place where Odysseus heard the mermaids. The entrance is marked with a mooring buoy, and there is a Robinson Crusoe-style restaurant above it. The second place is Saplunara Bay, the perfect sandy getaway in the shape of half moon. The 2 restaurants offer mooring buoys, or you can lounge on a chair or boat and play in the sand all day. Do avoid it in the strong southerly winds. On the other side of the channel from Mljet Island is Pelješac. It is the richest wine region in Croatia, and on it is a little town, oftenly overlooked, but definitely worth a visit, Ston. To get there, you have to pass through a 6-mile-long channel of Ston, with the last mile and a half narrowing considerably. The depth is sometimes only 2 meters, so don't be surprised, but the channel markers are good, so stick to them and go slow to reach the town. A swell is noticed in Ston during strong southerlies, and there can be some current depending on the tides. Anchoring is possible before the channel narrows, and there is a new town quay in the center of the town. South of the town is the oldest still running salt mine in Europe. Back in the day, when salt was more expensive than gold, this mine was so important to Dubrovnik Republic that they built a stone wall to protect it. Today, that wall is the largest defensive wall in the world after the Chinese one. Stone also has a specialty, the oysters, so make sure to taste some when visiting. In front of Dubrovnik town is a beautiful archipelago called Elafiti Islands. The name means deer in Greek, although there are no deer on them anymore. All of the islands offer great anchoring possibilities, and in towns you can find restaurants offering free of charge mooring to guests. The most popular places are Suđurađ on the south side of Šipen Island, exposed to southerly winds. Then we have Lopud Island with Bay Lopud on the north and Uvala Šunj on the south side, both nice and quiet. And Koločep Island, car-free like the previous two islands as well, with great hiking trails and a blue cave of its own to swim in, only 6 miles from Dubrovnik town. To visit Dubrovnik, the pearl of the Adriatic, you can do one of the following things. If you are spending the night in Elafiti archipelago, simply catch a ferry to visit the town. Another option is to anchor on little island Lokrum. It is full of superstitious stories. It's a protected area, so you need to pay a small fee for that. You may also notice a lot of cruises anchoring in the channel between the island and the old town, so you may try the same. The best spot is some 200 meters off Dubrovnik walls to the east. The recommended option would always be to book one of two marinas in Dubrovnik. Marina Frapa, closer to the town, or ACI Marina in Mokošica, where another Sunsail base is found. Both marinas are very well connected to Dubrovnik town itself. Dubrovnik town needs no introduction. Use your time to visit the exquisite walls, eat some good food, or try to catch a ride in a cable car for amazing views. Thank you for listening closely to Agana Base Briefing. Hopefully you have enough information to start planning your trip. We also have Instagram accounts for you to stay inspired. Don't forget that you can always ask the base staff for information or additional questions. We'd be happy to help. Enjoy your holiday! Hi everyone, now in person. So we had a great question from Therese, I hope everybody can hear me, asking about the birthplace of Marco Polo. Now, first of all, some Italians, especially those ones from Venice, wouldn't agree that he actually was born here. But he did go to prison here, and this is where he wrote his book. So kind of the major conclusion is that he was born here as well. Korčula Island is found in the south region, so south from our base, and that is also where you can find the Marco Polo house. Are there any other questions from our attendees about the region? Thank you, Dominique. So I'm really happy you liked it. We'll do plenty more of it, and we have more advice for any of the guests when they arrive to the base as well. So in case there are no other questions, I would like to thank you once again for joining us. You can very easily reschedule a briefing or recommend it to your guests on our web pages, and I guess I will see you at the base. Have a nice day and visit us soon.
Ja, to možno prav. I s tim ovdje u Agani. Ajka ruča dok ti došla do mene da